Recently in the NBA, there have been a lot of high-scoring games. This gave me the question, who is statistically the best player in the NBA? Is it Giannis? Maybe Kawhi? I just needed to know. To solve this question, I used Basketball Reference to help me out a bit. If you don't know, you should know what Basketball Reference is. It gives you a bunch of stats, things like that, PER, win shares. It's pretty cool, you should go check it out. But how do I even solve this problem? Do I use PER for offense? What if effectiveness comes into account? Do I need to use box plus minus? What is my stat for defense? What do I do? I need to do some work. On Basketball Reference, there's a statistic for PER and win shares. If you don't know the definition of PER is player efficiency rating. It's a rating of a player's per minute productivity. So if you average 30 points on 40% shooting, that's better than a 1 point per game on 50% shooting. Imagine how selfish you have to be averaging 30 points on 40% shooting. Anyways, an average PER is about 15. A great PER is about 20. An amazing PER is about 25. An MVP PER is about 25 to 30. And the highest PER in NBA history is 31.9 by Giannis Antetokounmpo. And the definition for win shares is exactly what it sounds like. How many games are you responsible for in the entire season? But some people misunderstand this definition. If you have 35 points and carried your team, that's going to get you a win share over hitting a game winner, but that is your 5th point of the game. Also, in order to have a lot of win shares, you need a nice winning team, or you need to carry the heck out of that team. Now that you understand the definition of what I'm going to be using to measure the offensive side, we also need to measure the defensive side. I said multiple times in previous videos that adding up steals and blocks does not represent how good at defense you are, and it shall stay like that. However, it does tell us something. After hours and hours of research going through multiple NBA players' steals and blocks percentages, 2 hours into my research, I found out there's a stat for this. It is called defensive rating. After doing 2 more hours of research, I found out that there's a thing called defensive win shares. It is automatically added to your regular win shares. So that's 4 hours of research gone to waste. Now that we have the defensive and offensive parts, we need to figure out how to combine those two to make a system where we can rank players. I will be combining the number of PER and win shares. So if you have a PER of 1 and 0.2 win shares, your rating will be 1.2. But some players have a super high PER even though they're averaging 2 points per game or something like that. So in order to cross that out, I will be using a thing called GP. I invented GP. Subtle flex. GP is where you add up your points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. So that's to cross out all the random bench players that have a high efficiency. To get an idea, a pretty bad GP is 10. An average GP is 15. A solid GP is 20. An all-star GP is about 30. An MVP candidate GP is about 40. And an MVP GP is about 45. So our system is we're going to be combining PER, win shares, and GP. I think it's a pretty good system. I'll be ranking the top 25 players in the NBA statistically. Before we do the rank, who do you think will be the best player in the NBA? Leave it in the comments below. There are some exceptions on this list, however, because statistically, Trae Young is the 8th best player, but he's really not. So there's very few exceptions, but you get the idea. Also, if you disagree with the rankings, you literally can't. These are statistics that I worked out. You literally can't disagree with them. It's fact. And without any further ado, at number 25, we have a tie between Paul George and Kyle Lowry. They were both tied at a score of 58.8. At number 24, we have Kristaps Porzingis, which is pretty surprising. He had a score of 59.8. At 23, we have Zach LaVine, which means he should be an all-star, because there's 24 all-stars. At 22, we have Chris Middleton. At 21, we have CP3. That's back-to-back Chris's, Chris Middleton and Chris Paul. At 20, we have an all-star center in Bam Adebayo. He had a score of 62.4, which is just amazing. At 19, we have Jason Tatum. I expected him to be a little higher due to his amazing leadership ability, but he still has a score of 63. Next, we have DeMar DeRozan. Hold up, DeMar DeRozan? I mean, I guess. He is an amazing mid-range scorer. At 17, we have a top 5 center in Nikola Vucevic. Nikola Vucevic is the type of guy that will give you 20, 12, and 4 on any given night. At 16, we have Rudy Gobert. He is getting 2 blocks per game. At 15, we have Jimmy Butler. The reason why he isn't higher is because we're only using the regular season. If we included the playoffs, he would probably be a top 12 player. At 14, we have Russell Westbrook, 13, Bradley Beal, 12, Kyrie Irving. But at 11, we have Joel Embiid. He is one of the best rebounders and defenders in the NBA, so I'm not surprised he ended up here. Now we are on to the top 10. At number 10, we have Ben Simmons. A bit questionable, but that's fine. He averaged 16, 8, and 8 while being one of the best defensive point guards in the NBA, so props to him. At number 9, we have the best passing center in NBA history, Nikola Jokic. He was an MVP candidate in the 2020 season. He led the Nuggets to the conference finals, so he deserves to be here.
I mean, you can't deny it because it's stats, so
At number 8, we have Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns is the best shooting big man of all time. He is shooting over 40% from 3 while taking over 7 threes a game. At 7, we have a surprisingly low appearance in Kawhi Leonard. He was an MVP caliber player, but in the 2018-2019 season, he was the best player including the playoffs. At 6, we have another insanely low appearance in LeBron James. His score was only 80.5. With him being second in MVP voting, I'm kind of shocked. At number 5, we have Anthony Davis. He was 0.4 points ahead of LeBron James. At 4, we have a surprisingly high appearance in Damian Lillard. He averaged 30 points, 4 rebounds, and 8 assists, but he did carry the Blazers. At number 3, we have Luka Doncic. He nearly averaged a 30-point triple-double while leading the most efficient offense in NBA history. So it makes sense he's at 3.
I mean, you can't deny it because it's statistics.
At 2, we have the beard James Harden. To be honest, I'm not surprised he made this spot. He could give you 50 points on any given night. He had an insane score of 93.3. To put into perspective how insane that is, Luka Doncic's score was 84.6. And at the number 1 spot, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo. He was only 0.4 points ahead of James Harden. So if Harden averaged half a point more, then he would statistically be the best player in the NBA. But Giannis had the highest PER ever while carrying his team to the best record in the league. Okay guys, we are at the end of the video. This video is really fun to make. I worked out all the numbers, I did the math. It did take me a long time, but it was fun. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Vron, and that's my take. Peace!